Welcome to Environmental Science and Management 102 online lab section. We're going to go over the logistics of the class, some details of the syllabus, and then we'll get right into learning about ecological footprints. So an online class is more intense than a face-to-face class because you really have to keep track of your deadlines and not get behind because it happens fast. So you want to stay on top of the deadlines. And one really good way to do that is to just book time in your schedule every week and just say, you know what, Thursdays or whatever day works for you, this is when I'm spending my time working on my lab. Because that way you won't, push it to the last possible minute. You don't want to be spending, Friday happy hour working on your lab when you could be doing something else. And then another really helpful thing is to set an alarm on your phone for your weekly submission times. Every Friday at 6 p.m. you will have an assignment due for this ESM 102 lab. But some weeks we're going to have a quiz on a Wednesday, so you want to have an alarm so that you give yourself time to get the content down and then actually take the quiz or do the paper or whatever it is that's due. The reason is, once the D2L Dropbox is closed, it's closed. So because there is a lot of work in this lab and there are a number of students, it's not feasible for me to grade late assignments. So just stay on top of it. Obviously, I'm a human being. I understand things happen, but I'm not going to take late assignments emailed to me. So stick with the D2L Dropbox and set reminders for yourself. And just to reiterate, some weeks you're going to have multiple assignments due, so you just have to stay on top of that. Another part of this class is that there are two self-directed workshops. One of them is a water quality workshop, which is going to be pretty cool, and then another one is an energy consumption workshop. And so some of those things will require that you have materials, that you actually buy materials locally, and then some of the things that are a little too hard to come up with and that we are hoping to buy in bulk, we will actually ship to you so that you have those for your use for the workshop. And then another thing that is mandatory for this lab is a self-directed field trip to a local farm or co-op in your area. And we'll talk about that more as the date comes up for that. So goals for this week, for week 1, get familiar with the syllabus, introduce yourself to me in the online intro by Wednesday, January 8th at 6 p.m. Know that Fridays you're going to have assignments due every week, but that Wednesdays are due dates for some weeks as well. And then as far as content for week 1, we're looking at ecological footprints. We're going to learn about the concept of embedded costs, why infrastructure changes footprints of entire nations. And I'd like you to, for the first assignment due this Friday, use the footprint tool to determine how many Earths it would take if we were all to live the way that you do. So let's go into talking about ecological footprints. This is kind of an interchangeable term with the term carbon footprint, but ecological footprint actually means more than that. It's more comprehensive because it's taking into account not just the carbon that you use for things like fuel, but also the things that you use to consume food, all kinds of energy, all kinds of lifestyle choices, from the size of your home to how far you commute to work to how you commute to work, things like that. So a few things I'd like you guys to think about when you're doing this exercise is, why do you think anyone should even bother with it? I mean, I think everyone is going to be pretty shocked when they get their results from this. Why do you think it's a valuable exercise? And what factors change your footprint more than others? It's kind of neat to actually go to this website and change your numbers a bit. Like, imagine if you were to live in a 400 square foot studio apartment as compared to a 1,600 square foot house, things like that. And then another thing to consider is, why do you think different countries are going to show different results even if you have the same exact lifestyle in that country? So just mess around with that, and you can actually, I believe you can change the country of origin, so you don't have to assume that you're, you know, um, even if you're living in the United States now. Like, we've had students in the past that lived in Saudi Arabia, so they actually calculated their footprint as though they were still living in Saudi Arabia, and it's interesting to come up with what the differences are between those. So for week 1, I'd like you to review assignment number 1. You can download this Word file from the D2L website under Course Content Week 1. Go to the website that's listed on the worksheet to complete the exercise, and then complete that worksheet and submit your assignment as either a Word file or a PDF file in the provided Dropbox in D2L by January 10th at 6 p.m. And that's it for now, and I look forward to meeting all of you. Thanks.